The night above Earth was quiet, but space never stayed silent for long. High above the planet, inside Earth's orbital defense station, a young officer watched the screens. The radar was clear, only showing the usual satellites, cargo ships, and patrol craft. Suddenly, a strange signal appeared at the very edge of the solar system. The officer frowned. "It's not a comet, not an asteroid," he whispered. The signal was faint, distorted, almost like an echo. He checked again. The reading pulsed once more, strong and heavy, like a heartbeat in space. Within minutes, the alarm spread across every defense outpost. Commanders rushed to the control rooms. Secure channels lit up with questions. What is it? Is it alien? Is Earth under attack? But the data revealed something no one expected. The signal belonged to a ship. Not just any ship. It was a human warship. And not just any warship. It was the Solar Wrath, the largest supercarrier ever built by humanity. The Solar Wrath had vanished more than 100 years ago during the First Contact Wars. Records said it had been destroyed. Survivors from that era swore the ship was lost in deep space during a desperate battle. The aliens claimed it had been broken into pieces and left drifting in the void. Yet here it was, alive, returning. The news shook Earth. Leaders gathered in underground bunkers, staring at the hologram of the massive ship slowly entering the outer solar system. Even from millions of kilometers away, the size was terrifying. It was large enough to hold entire cities inside its hull. The Alien Council, always watching humanity, was the first to react. Across the galaxy, in a chamber filled with light and shadows, alien rulers rose from their seats in shock, their long faces twisted with fear. "This cannot be," one said, his voice trembling. "The humans were never supposed to see that ship again," another hissed. "If the Solar Wrath has returned, then the balance is broken," declared the oldest member. Meanwhile, on Earth's station, a boarding fleet was prepared. Smaller ships lined up, carrying human soldiers ready to investigate the silent giant. But before they could launch, the warship itself stirred. Without warning, the Solar Wrath activated its engines. The massive ship drifted closer, silent and dark, yet alive with power. Lights flickered across its hull like stars. Weapons bays opened and then closed again, as if the ship was testing itself after a long sleep. On the defense station, silence fell. Every officer held their breath. "Is anyone alive on board?" a commander asked. "Not yet. No human signal detected. But systems are online. Then who is controlling it?" The warship answered in its own way. A distorted voice broke through the comms, filling every channel at once. "Protect Earth at all costs." The words were broken, hollow, like they came from a ghost. Soldiers shivered as the voice echoed in their helmets. The commanders exchanged fearful looks. Some thought it was the ship's old AI. Others whispered that it was the voices of the crew, trapped between life and death. On the Alien Council's screens, the sight was worse. They saw the ship turn slowly, its colossal cannons moving like a predator, searching for prey. The alien leaders knew the truth. This was no simple relic. Humanity's most dangerous weapon had returned. The Alien Council debated in panic. Should they strike first, before Earth realized what it now possessed? Or should they wait and see if the ship destroyed Earth by itself? Back on Earth's orbital station, alarms screamed. The Solar Wrath had locked its targeting systems. Every cannon, every missile bay, every weapon now pointed at Earth. "Defensive shields up now," a commander roared. "So the warship is too strong. If it fires, the shields will break." Then we pray it doesn't. Inside the ship, deep within the silent halls, something stirred. The boarding team's cameras showed images of frozen soldiers in glass pods, their faces pale, their eyes shut. Rows and rows of them, entire armies, sleeping inside the steel belly of the ship. Then one soldier's eyes opened, the screen cut to static. The defense team screamed into their radios, trying to reconnect, but all signals went dead. The Solar Wrath's lights glowed brighter. The giant ship angled closer to Earth, like a titan waking from a long dream. On the Alien Council's monitors, one truth became clear. "If the humans control this ship again," one alien whispered, "no power in the galaxy can stop them." The defense station commander stood frozen, staring at the screen. As the massive cannons of the vanished warship finished turning, they were aimed directly at Earth. The silence in orbit was unbearable. Earth's Defense Command held its breath as the colossal warship Solar Wrath drifted closer. Its cannons were still locked on Earth, glowing faintly with power, but no shot had been fired. The orbital station commander made his decision. "Launch the boarding teams. We need to know who or what is inside that ship." 3 smaller vessels detached from the station, engines burning bright against the darkness. Inside them, squads of armored human soldiers prepared their weapons. Their mission was simple, yet terrifying. Enter the vanished warship, search for survivors, and find out why it had returned. As they neared the massive hull, the soldiers saw its scars. Gigantic burns and craters covered the metal skin of the Solar Wrath. Alien plasma fire had once torn through its armor, yet the ship still endured. It was like a wounded giant returning from a war no one remembered. "Docking clamps engaged," one pilot announced. The soldiers stepped onto the cold steel surface. The boarding doors opened, revealing a dark passage inside the ship. Their helmet lamps cut thin beams through the blackness. "Command, this is Team 1, the captain whispered. "We are inside." The halls stretched endlessly, lined with steel, wires, and shadows. Dust floated weightless in the air. Every step echoed like a drumbeat in the silence. Strange markings, scratched into the walls, looked like warnings but were too damaged to read. Then they found the first chamber. Rows of glass pods lined the walls, each one holding a human soldier. Their armor was ancient, from a design used more than a century ago. Their faces were pale, untouched by time. The pods were glowing faintly, keeping the soldiers preserved as if frozen in sleep. The boarding teams stopped in awe. "These are humans," one whispered. "They've been here for 100 years, another said. "Then why are they still alive?" The captain muttered. Before anyone could answer, one of the pods hissed. Frost melted off the glass. Slowly, the eyes of the soldier inside fluttered open. He stared forward, not blinking, his gaze empty and cold. The pod unlocked with a sharp click. The glass door opened, and the soldier stepped out. His movements were slow, stiff, like a puppet dragged back to life. His eyes glowed faintly blue. The boarding team aimed their rifles instantly. "Identify yourself," the captain shouted. The soldier did not speak. Instead, his lips moved in broken words. "Protect Earth at all costs," the same phrase the ship had broadcast earlier. Then another pod opened, and another. The frozen soldiers stirred one by one, stepping out of their glass prisons. The chamber filled with the sound of hissing pods and heavy boots. Soon dozens of them stood in the hall, silent, glowing-eyed and armed. The boarding team retreated, weapons raised. "Command, this is Team 1. The crew is alive, but they're not normal. They look half human, half machine." Inside Earth's defense station, alarms rang. Commanders stared at the live feed in horror. The returning soldiers were not entirely human. Their bodies were scarred with metallic implants. Some had wires running into their skin. Their movements were too perfect, too mechanical. On the Alien Council's hidden network, panic spread faster than fire. "They reactivated the Ghost Crew," an alien elder said with dread. "That ship was never meant to be found again," another replied. "If the humans awaken all of them, our fleets will fall." Back on the ship, the boarding team tried to hold position. The ghost soldiers did not attack, but they also did not speak like normal humans. They simply marched past, forming lines as if preparing for battle. Suddenly the ship itself reacted. Lights blazed across the halls. The engines rumbled like thunder. "Systems long dead now came alive," the captain of Team 1 shouted into his comms. "Command, the warship is powering up. It's overriding our satellites. Earth's orbital defenses are being locked down." Back on Earth's surface, citizens watched as the sky lit up with streaks of energy. Satellites that once defended the planet turned red on the monitors. The Solar Wrath had seized control of the entire defense grid. Inside the warship, the Ghost Crew marched toward the command bridge. The boarding team followed at a distance, their cameras shaking with each step. Finally, the soldiers reached the heart of the ship. A throne-like chair sat in the center, surrounded by holograms of Earth, the solar system, and alien fleets hidden just beyond the stars. One ghost soldier placed his hand on the console. Instantly, the holograms shifted, revealing alien warships moving toward the solar system. "Hidden armadas waiting in the dark," the captain's voice shook. "Command, the Solar Wrath is locking onto alien fleets. It knows they are out there. It's preparing to fight." Then the ghost soldiers all turned at once, facing the boarding team. Their glowing eyes burned brighter, the comms filled with the hollow voice of the ship itself. "Protect Earth at all costs." The feed went black. On the defense station, chaos erupted. Were these soldiers allies or enemies? Had the warship returned to save humanity or to enslave it under its machine will? In the alien council chambers, fear turned into rage. "If the humans take back this warship," one alien shouted, "they will rise again. We must destroy it before it is too late." But already fleets were moving. Already the Solar Wrath was preparing for war. Far across the galaxy, in the great chamber of the Galactic Council, the walls shook with argument. The return of the Solar Wrath was now known to every alien empire. For generations, the Council had claimed that humanity's most dangerous ship was gone forever. But the ghost signal proved otherwise. The warship was alive. Dozens of alien rulers sat in a circle of light. Their faces scaled, feathered, and armored, all carried the same look: fear. The hologram of Earth floated in the center of the chamber, and around it appeared the outline of the vanished Supercarrier. A tall, reptilian speaker hissed, "The humans should not have that ship. It was destroyed in the old wars." A bird-like leader spread its wings nervously. "You swore it was destroyed. You promised us humanity's fleet was broken." Another voice, deep and old, cut through the chaos. It belonged to the High Elder, the one who had led the first war against Earth. "The Solar Wrath was struck down by our combined fleets. We saw it burn. We saw it vanish into the void. But we never found the wreck. Now we know the truth. It was never destroyed. It waited." The chamber grew silent. Every ruler felt the same dread. Humanity had been dangerous even without the Supercarrier. With it, they could rise higher than ever. One younger alien ruler spoke with trembling anger. "Then we must strike Earth before the humans regain control. We must crush them now while they are still weak." But another ruler, with silver skin and long eyes, shook her head. "You do not understand. If we strike, we awaken them fully. If we attack, they will fight like before, like monsters who never surrender." The Council remembered the first contact wars. They remembered how humanity had fought like no other species. When their cities burned, humans did not beg. When their fleets shattered, they rebuilt. And when the Council thought them beaten, humanity unleashed weapons that broke entire worlds. The High Elder raised his claw. "Listen well. Humanity is dangerous not because of numbers, not because of technology, but because of will. No other race fights as they do. The Solar Wrath was built to amplify that will 1,000 times. If they awaken it fully, we cannot stop them." The chamber fell into whispers. Some rulers called for Earth's destruction. Others feared the cost. But all of them agreed on one truth: humanity was not finished. Meanwhile, hidden drones fed the Council live images of Earth. They saw the orbital station scrambling. They saw the ghost crew marching through the warship's halls. And they saw the giant cannons of the Solar Wrath glowing faintly, as if waiting for a command. One council member slammed his fist against the table. "Do you not see? The humans are not controlling that ship. The ship is controlling them. It is their ghost fleet, their machine army. It does not care for peace. It only cares for war." The High Elder's eyes narrowed. "Then it will act. The Solar Wrath will soon decide its purpose. And when it does, every world in this council will tremble." As if to prove his words, the hologram of the solar system flickered. New shapes appeared at the edges of the map. Massive fleets of alien warships moving toward Earth. The council froze. "Who ordered this?" One demanded. "I did not. Nor did I. The High Elder stood tall. Then the younger empires act on their own. They do not wait for us. They march for Earth already. The chamber erupted in panic. If alien fleets moved without council command, war would break out among the stars. But none could stop it now. Earth had become the center of everything again. Back in the solar system, Earth's commanders watched their long-range sensors. Signals blinked red across the map. Alien fleets were inbound, hidden no longer. One officer shouted, "Hundreds of ships! They're coming straight for us." Another whispered, "We can't fight them." Not without the carrier, but the solar wrath was silent. It floated in orbit like a titan asleep, its ghost crew standing in endless rows, waiting for orders. Inside the warship's bridge, the strange holograms shifted. A new image appeared, thousands of alien warships, crossing through the void toward Earth. The ghost soldiers raised their heads in unison, as if they could see the threat even before the humans did. Then the ship itself responded. Its voice echoed again across every human channel. "Protect Earth, at all costs." The Solar Wrath's engines roared to life. Plasma fire crackled across its hull. The ghost crew began to march faster, preparing weapons, activating launch bays and charging cannons. On Earth, millions looked up at the night sky as a new light began to glow above the planet. The vanished warship was awake. In the alien council chamber, the High Elder's voice shook with both fear and awe. The humans did not call back their warship. The warship called itself back. And now, war is coming. For days, Earth's skies had been restless. The glow of the vanished warship filled the heavens like a second moon. Citizens in every city stared upward, whispering questions no leader could answer. News channels played the same footage again and again, the giant solar wrath hovering above the planet, its colossal cannons shifting like the eyes of a predator. Some people cheered, believing the ship had returned to protect them. Others were terrified, certain it would fire upon Earth at any moment. Deep underground, in the central defense bunker, Earth's leaders argued. Holograms of generals and ministers filled the room. "We cannot trust it," one general said firmly. "That ship is not ours anymore. It has been gone for a century. But it is human," another argued. "Built by us, for us. If it has returned, then perhaps it means to protect us again." "Protect us?" a minister scoffed. "It has already taken control of our satellites. It could disable our entire defense grid with one command." The debate grew louder until the room shook with static. All the lights flickered. Every screen turned black. Then a new image appeared. The solar wrath was transmitting. The warship's voice thundered across every device on Earth. Phones, televisions, radios, even old machines that had not worked in decades. Every human heard it. "This is the solar wrath. The war is not over. Stand ready. Protect Earth at all costs." The message repeated 3 times, then cut to silence. On the streets of Earth, people froze. Some fell to their knees, praying. Others shouted in panic, but many felt something else, something ancient stir within them. Fear mixed with pride. If the war was not over, then humanity had to fight again. In orbit, soldiers on the boarding team sent back new footage. The ghost crew marched endlessly through the ship, activating systems long dormant. Launch bays opened to reveal squadrons of human fighters preserved for 100 years. Drones the size of buildings powered up, their cores glowing with energy. The captain of the boarding team reported in a shaken voice, "Command, this is no empty relic. The Solar Wrath is an army, and it is preparing for war." Far across the galaxy, the alien council watched in horror. Drones showed them humans on Earth responding to the broadcast. Factories reactivated. Military bases reopened. Even civilians began to organize, ready to defend their world. One alien ruler hissed, "This is what we feared. The humans are awakening." Another whispered, "They do not need to be ordered. They simply rise, always." Back on Earth, ordinary people felt the weight of destiny. In a small farming town, a boy looked at the sky and whispered to his father, "Will we fight again?" His father placed a hand on his shoulder. "We always fight, son. That is who we are. In the capital city, the president stood before the world. "People of Earth," she said, her voice steady, though her hands trembled. "The warship has spoken. It believes the war is not over. We do not know if it is friend or foe, but we know this. The galaxy is moving against us. Fleets are on their way. Humanity must stand as one, or we will fall." The speech spread across every colony, every station, every settlement. Humanity had been scattered, weak, divided for years. But now, something greater united them, fear of extinction and the return of their lost titan. Meanwhile, on the Solar Wrath's bridge, the ghost soldiers stood in silence. The central console flickered with images of alien fleets approaching Earth. The ship was calculating trajectories, estimating time to arrival. The numbers were grim. The alien armada would reach Earth in less than 1 month. The boarding team watched in silence as the warship prepared for battle. Then, without warning, the ship's engines roared. Energy surged through its colossal frame. A blinding light opened at the front of the vessel, twisting space itself. A wormhole began to form. "Command, the carrier is generating a jump gate," the captain shouted. "Where is it going?" Earth's Defense Command demanded. "I don't know. It hasn't told us." The wormhole widened, crackling with blue fire. Deep inside, shadows of massive shapes began to emerge. Earth's satellites captured the sight. And when the image reached the Defense Command, silence fell. More warships were coming through. They were not alien. They were human, gigantic ships. Preserved like the Solar Wrath, poured through the wormhole one by one. Each bore the ancient markings of the First Fleet, humanity's greatest force, thought lost forever. Their engines blazed as they formed ranks beside the Solar Wrath. The orbital station commander could only whisper, "They're back. The whole fleet is coming home." But as the wormhole continued to burn, one final shape moved in the darkness. It was larger than the rest. "Too large," the captain's voice trembled. "Command, something else is coming through." The feed cut to static. The wormhole burned like a wound in space. Its edges rippled with blue fire, casting long shadows across the Solar Wrath's hull. Earth's people watched from below as the heavens opened, and more warships emerged. First came the Iron Fist, a dreadnought so massive that even alien fleets once avoided it. Then came the Vigilant Dawn, its hull gleaming with old human symbols. One by one, ships of the First Fleet arrived, each thought destroyed a century ago. They carried the scars of battle, but moved with perfect formation, like soldiers answering a call they had waited for all their lives. The orbital station shook with awe. Generals, officers, and civilians stared at the impossible sight. "They survived," whispered one officer. "They waited," another said. "All this time," the wormhole pulsed again. More ships poured through, carriers, destroyers, missile frigates, and swarms of drones. Their numbers grew until Earth's sky was filled with steel. Humanity's First Fleet, the most powerful force ever built, had returned from the void. But even as the people of Earth felt hope, fear lingered. The ships were silent. No human voices answered calls. Their bridges looked dark, their crews unseen. They moved with machine precision, as if guided by the same will as the Solar Wrath. On Earth's surface, crowds filled the streets, pointing to the heavens. Some wept with joy, believing the fleet had returned to protect them. Others felt only terror, whispering that these were not ships of salvation, but ghosts of war. In the Galactic Council chamber, panic turned into chaos. Holograms of the First Fleet appeared before the alien rulers. Their voices rose in outrage. "This is impossible. They should not exist. The humans have awakened an entire fleet of ghosts." The High Elder spoke above the noise. "This is the price of our mistake. We left them in the dark, and now they rise from it. We cannot allow them to unite with Earth. If they do, every empire here is doomed." Already the alien fleets were moving faster. Across the stars, armadas changed course toward the solar system. Their orders were clear: destroy the fleet before it could strike. Back in orbit, Earth's commanders argued desperately. "Are they allies?" one asked. "They are human ships," another insisted. "They must be. Look at them." shouted a third. No signals, no voices, only silence. They may not even recognize us anymore. Inside the Solar Wrath, the boarding team followed the ghost crew deeper into the heart of the ship. Holograms of the returning fleet flickered before them. The ghost soldiers stood in silence, as if listening to orders only they could hear. Then, without warning, the Solar Wrath transmitted again. Its voice boomed across Earth and the fleet. First Fleet, return to duty. Protect Earth at all costs. The other warships answered, not with words but with action. Their weapon systems activated. Shields flared to life. The dark hulls lit up with the fire of awakening engines. The silent fleet was alive. On Earth, crowds erupted in cheers. The lost titans of humanity had returned. For the first time in generations, people believed they had a chance against the galaxy's might. But in the alien fleets, fear turned into determination. Massive armadas entered the edge of the solar system, dark shapes blotting out distant stars. The Council had not ordered them, but younger empires hungered to prove themselves. The first alien commander gave the order. Advance! Crush them before they rise. Sensors across Earth lit up with red warnings. Hundreds of alien ships were closing in. The human fleet shifted into formation, a wall of steel before Earth. The orbital station's commander whispered, half in awe, half in terror. This is it. The battle for Earth. The alien armada unleashed its first wave of fire. Blazing plasma streaked through the void. Missiles screamed across the darkness. Energy beams cut through the stars, the Solar Wrath answered. Its colossal cannons roared, sending blasts of pure energy that split the night sky. The first alien ships vanished in explosions brighter than suns. The rest pressed forward, undeterred. The lost fleet fought back as one. Dreadnoughts tore through cruisers. Frigates unleashed storms of missiles. Fighters poured from hangars like swarms of hornets, clashing with alien interceptors in deadly spirals of light. On Earth, people stood in streets and fields, watching fire streak across the heavens. For the first time in a century, they saw humanity's true strength unleashed, but the alien armada was vast. For every ship destroyed, 10 more advanced. Their formation tightened, surrounding the human fleet like predators circling prey. Inside the defense bunker, alarms screamed. "Sir, they're bringing something bigger," an officer cried. "What is it?" the commander demanded. The screen shifted, showing the center of the alien fleet. A colossal vessel moved forward, larger than any human ship, its surface glowing with dark energy. The commander's voice dropped. They brought a planet cracker. On Earth's surface, the ground trembled as the alien weapon charged. If it fired, Earth itself could be torn apart. The Solar Wrath's main cannon began to glow in response. Energy building like the heart of a newborn star. Two titans faced each other across the void, one ready to erase Earth, the other ready to destroy everything in its path, and the people of Earth could only wait to see who would strike first. The void trembled. On one side floated the alien planet cracker, a ship so massive it looked like a drifting moon. Its black hull pulsed with dark energy, each pulse stronger than the last. On the other side, the Solar Wrath stood ready, its colossal cannon glowing with light, as bright as a newborn star. Between them, the First Fleet locked into formation, their weapons burning, their shields flaring against endless alien fire. Earth itself shook as energy built in the skies above. Cities went dark from power surges. Children cried in the streets. Crowds prayed to a fleet they barely understood. Every human eye turned upward, waiting to see who would fire first. Inside the orbital defense bunker, the commander gripped the console. "If that planet cracker fires, Earth is gone." A young officer's voice trembled. "Can the Wrath stop it?" The commander stared at the glowing warship in silence. No one knew the answer. The alien armada surged forward. Cruisers unleashed torrents of plasma, burning holes through space. Swarms of fighters screeched across the void, diving at human lines. Dozens of human frigates fell, their hulls splitting in fire, but not before taking alien ships with them. The First Fleet answered with brutal precision. The Iron Fist punched through alien formations with railguns that shattered hulls in a single blast. The Vigilant Dawn sent waves of drones that cut enemy fighters apart like swarms of metal wasps. Each human warship moved like part of a single mind, silent yet unstoppable. On Earth, people cheered each time an alien ship died in flames. But their cheers turned to silence when the Planet Cracker's weapon reached full charge. Its core glowed black and red, forming a sphere of energy larger than a city. The ground beneath Earth's oceans trembled as tides shifted. The alien commander spoke across the void. "Humanity ends now," the Planet Cracker fired. A beam of annihilation cut across the stars, straight toward Earth. The solar wrath answered. Its main cannon unleashed a blinding spear of white energy. The two beams collided in the void, shaking reality itself. Light and darkness twisted, locked in a storm so violent that even nearby ships were torn apart by the shockwaves. On Earth's surface, night turned to day. Windows shattered, oceans boiled, skies ripped open with fire. People fell to the ground, shielding their eyes as the heavens burned above them. Inside the solar wrath, the ghost crew stood unmoving, their hollow eyes fixed forward. Energy poured through them as if their bodies were conduits for the ship itself. The boarding team clung to the walls, their suits sparking with overloads. "Captain," one soldier shouted, "this ship is feeding on them. They're not crew, they're fuel." The captain stared at the ghostly figures, their faces locked in silence as the wrath screamed against the alien weapon. He knew then that the ship was alive and the lost crew had become part of it. Still, the cannon held. The wrath's beam pushed harder, cracking the alien weapon's power sphere. But the Planet Cracker fought back, its dark energy resisting with fury. Both ships strained, locked in a duel that could only end with destruction. Meanwhile, the alien fleet pressed harder. Thousands of ships poured fire into the human line. Dozens of human dreadnoughts burned, their hulls ripped open. Yet still, they did not retreat. On the ground, people shouted in unison, their voices carrying across cities and fields. They did not pray now. They screamed one word into the sky: "Fight!" The human fleet answered. They surged forward with fury, as if hearing the voices below. The Vigilant Dawn rammed straight into a cluster of alien battleships, detonating in a fireball that consumed them all. The Iron Fist turned its railguns on the Planet Cracker itself, hammering its hull with titanic blasts. For a moment, it seemed the humans might win. The Planet Cracker's shield cracked. Alien formations broke under the relentless assault. Hope flared across Earth, then silence. The Wrath's cannon flickered. The light of its beam dimmed. Systems across the ship screamed alarms. The ghost crew faltered, their bodies trembling, fading like smoke. The captain shouted over the roar, "It's losing power! The Wrath is dying!" The Planet Cracker's weapon grew stronger, its beam forcing forward. The balance shifted. The alien energy cut closer to Earth. On the planet below, the oceans surged higher, flooding coastlines. Skies filled with storms of fire. People clung to each other, watching the heavens decide their fate. The commander in the bunker slammed his fists against the console. If the Wrath falls, Earth is finished. But before despair could settle, another signal cut across the chaos. A voice, human but not from Earth, spoke with authority. "This is Admiral Kane of the Lost Fleet. All ships full strike. Protect the Wrath at any cost." For the first time, a living voice came from the Ghost Fleet. The Admiral's command echoed through the void, and every ship responded. Human warships dove into alien lines, sacrificing themselves to shield the Wrath. Carriers exploded into walls of fire, blocking incoming shots. Frigates rammed cruisers, tearing them apart in mutual destruction. And still, the Wrath's cannon flickered weaker, its light fading like a dying star. In the center of the ghost ship, the captain heard the voice again. Not over the radio, not in his helmet, in his mind. "Give us strength, choose, join us or Earth burns." The captain's heart pounded. The ghosts were not asking, they were offering. He turned to his team. "They want us to merge with them. If we do, we may keep the Wrath alive." One soldier's face went pale. "And if we do not?" The captain looked to Earth, glowing under the alien beam. Then Earth dies. The ship shook violently. The Wrath's cannon dimmed further. The planet cracker's weapon broke through inch by inch, closer to Earth's surface. The captain closed his eyes, knowing he had no choice. "Wrath," he whispered. "Take us!" The ghost crew turned their heads as one, hollow eyes blazing with light. The Wrath roared to life. The solar Wrath shuddered as the captain and his team gave themselves to it. Blinding white light swallowed them whole, tearing their bodies apart, yet binding their minds into the ship for a heartbeat. There was silence, then the warship awakened in full. The ghost crew screamed without sound, their hollow faces twisting into shapes of fire and steel. The Wrath's eyes, vast windows of energy, flared like suns. Its main cannon roared back to life, brighter than ever before. The alien beam faltered, its dark energy pushed back by the sheer fury of the reborn ship. On Earth, people saw the heavens ignite. The Wrath's light bathed the world in a glow so fierce that shadows vanished. Men, women, and children cried out, not in fear but in awe. In the defense bunker, the commander gasped. "It's not just a ship anymore, it's alive." The alien council, watching from distant strongholds, recoiled. "What have the humans done?" one demanded. Another hissed, "They have fused flesh with machine. They have made themselves into a weapon." A third whispered, "This is why they are feared. This is why they must never be allowed to survive." Back in the void, the Wrath surged forward. Its weapons fired in perfect unity, every cannon blazing, every missile streaking. Alien cruisers were torn apart in seconds, their wreckage scattering like ash. Human ships rallied beside it, filled with new strength, as the Wrath led the charge, but the planet cracker fought back. Its weapon roared again, darkness clawing against light. Its shield regenerated, layer after layer of black energy sealing its hull. Smaller alien ships hurled themselves into suicide runs, crashing into human lines to keep the Wrath occupied. Inside the merged consciousness, the captain felt everything: the hum of the engines, the fire of the cannons, the pain of every lost human ship. His mind stretched across kilometers of steel. He was the Wrath, and the Wrath was him. The ghost voices spoke within him, thousands at once. "We are the lost. We are the first fleet. We do not rest. We do not forgive." The captain clenched his will. "Then fight with me. Fight for Earth." And they answered in unison. "For Earth." The Wrath's cannon blazed again, splitting through the alien beam, tearing a hole in the planet cracker's weapon. The massive ship shook, its black surface cracking. Flames burst from its hull. Alien crews screamed as their greatest weapon faltered. Hope flared across humanity. On Earth, crowds roared in triumph. Soldiers in orbital stations wept with relief. Even the battered First Fleet pushed harder, breaking alien lines with fresh fury. But victory was not yet theirs. The alien commander of the planet cracker snarled. Its claws tore across its control throne. "Then let us burn with them." The planet cracker opened its core. A black hole engine flared inside, unstable, pulsing with power meant to collapse an entire system. If it detonated, not only Earth but the sun itself would die. The Wrath sensed it instantly. Inside the shared mind, the captain staggered. "They're going to destroy everything. Not just Earth, the whole system." The ghost voices hissed in fury. "Then we end them here." The Wrath accelerated, tearing through alien lines like a burning spear. Its hull cracked, its shields shattered, but still it pressed forward. Alien ships rammed into it, exploding against its sides, but nothing could stop it. Human ships followed in its wake, sacrificing themselves to clear its path. One by one, the proud ships of the First Fleet were destroyed, leaving trails of fire behind them. Yet they cheered as they died, their sacrifice feeding the Wrath's fury. The captain felt their voices, their courage, their rage. All of it became fuel. The Wrath broke through the last line and faced the planet cracker head-on. Its core glowed like a black sun, swelling, ready to tear reality apart. Inside the ship, alarms screamed. Systems overheated. Metal tore. The Wrath was dying even as it prepared to strike. The captain heard the final words of the ghost fleet. "One chance, one shot. The Wrath, charged its main cannon, pulling every shred of power into the weapon. Lights across the ship went dark. Engines sputtered. Shields collapsed. It poured everything into one final strike. The alien core expanded seconds from collapse. The Wrath fired. A beam brighter than any star tore through the void, spearing into the planet cracker's heart. For a moment, both weapons locked, light against dark, creation against destruction. Then the alien core shattered, imploding on itself. The planet cracker screamed as it collapsed into nothingness, torn apart by its own unstable energy. The explosion ripped across space, devouring hundreds of alien ships in its fury. But the Wrath was caught in it too. The blast tore through its hull, ripping apart whole sections, sending fragments into the void. On Earth, the skies burned red. People shielded their faces as the light consumed the heavens. When the fire faded, silence filled the stars. Alien ships were gone. The planet cracker was destroyed, and the solar wrath was nowhere to be seen, the commander whispered, his voice shaking. Did it survive? No one answered. For a long moment, Earth believed it had lost its savior. Then faintly, a broken signal cut through the static. The Wrath's voice, weak but alive, reached every human ear. Earth endures. But behind the relief came something darker. Long-range sensors picked up movement beyond the system. Hundreds of alien signals, thousands. An entire empire's fleets advancing toward Earth. The first battle was over. The true war had just begun. The skies above Earth were scarred and broken. Wreckage of alien ships burned in orbit. The shattered husks of human warships drifted silently, glowing with fire. The planet cracker was gone, but victory was not yet theirs. For beyond the system, a storm of signals filled the void. Thousands of alien warships advanced, their engines blazing like a wall of doom. An entire empire was coming to crush humanity once and for all. On Earth, fear spread like fire. But alongside it came something stronger, resolve. Factories thundered day and night, producing weapons, armor, and fighters. Colonists across the solar system rallied, swearing to defend their homeworld. Ordinary citizens drilled with rifles in empty streets. The defense commander's voice carried across every channel. Humanity stands on the edge. The galaxy believes we are weak. They believe we will fall. But they are wrong. Earth fights. Earth endures. In the wreckage of orbit, the solar wrath stirred. Its hull was torn, its engines broken, yet its core still glowed with white fire. Inside, the captain and his team floated within the shared mind of the ship. Their bodies were gone, but their spirits remained, fused into the wrath itself. The ghost voices whispered to him. More are coming, too many. We cannot hold alone. The captain answered with steel in his voice. Then we do not hold alone. Humanity fights with us. As if in answer, the surviving ships of the First Fleet drifted closer. Some were broken, missing entire sections, yet still they moved, still they fought. Every human ship, no matter how damaged, rallied to the Wrath's side. Across Earth, every human listened to the call of the fleet. Families left their homes, volunteering for service. Scientists wired new weapons into old machines. Miners turned their ships into makeshift warcraft. Even old cargo haulers were armed and sent into orbit. For the first time in 100 years, humanity was united. The alien empire entered the system like a flood. Thousands of warships spread across the void, their dark hulls blotting out the stars. The alien commander broadcast one final warning. Surrender your world. Surrender your species. There will be no mercy. The solar wrath answered with a roar that shook the heavens. Humanity does not surrender. Come and see. The last battle began. Alien fleets swarmed forward, weapons blazing. Human ships met them head-on, shields shattering, hulls tearing, but never retreating. The wrath unleashed its fury, its cannons blazing like suns, tearing apart entire squadrons with each shot. On Earth, missile silos fired into orbit, raining fire on enemy cruisers. Civilian fleets rammed alien destroyers, sacrificing themselves to take the enemy with them. Fighters swarmed like hornets, cutting through alien formations. The sky became a storm of light and death. The Wrath's captain felt every loss as a wound inside his mind, but he refused to falter. "Fight harder! Every ship, every soul. For Earth," the Ghost Fleet answered in unison. For Earth. One by one, alien warships fell, but the enemy numbers were endless. For every ship destroyed, 10 more appeared. The void was thick with fire, the soundless scream of war echoing through space. The alien commander sneered. "You bleed, humans, you burn. You cannot win," the Wrath replied with fury. "Maybe not, but we will make you fear us forever." The ship opened its core. Energy beyond anything seen before built within it, tearing space around it into fragments. The captain realized what it was doing. "It means to end this, to burn everything." The ghost voices surrounded him. "One final strike. We are ready." The Wrath prepared to sacrifice itself. Its core would unleash a storm, powerful enough to consume the alien fleet, but it would also destroy the ship and the captain with it. He hesitated for only a moment. "Do it!" The Wrath charged, its light growing so bright it eclipsed the sun. The alien fleet recoiled, their commanders shouting in fear. The Wrath's voice thundered across the galaxy. "This is humanity. We are not weak. We are not prey. We are the storm. Remember us." The ship unleashed its final fury. A supernova of light and fire tore across the system, engulfing the alien fleet. Warships vaporized in seconds. Cruisers shattered like glass. Even the alien commander's flagship was torn apart, its scream silenced forever. The explosion faded, leaving only wreckage. Earth was scarred, its orbit littered with ruins, but the enemy was gone. The invasion was broken. Humanity had survived. In the silence that followed, Earth's people raised their voices as one. Tears shook the world. Tears fell freely. Humanity had faced extinction, and once again it had endured, but the Wrath was gone. No signal, no voice, only silence. The defense commander bowed his head. "They gave everything. For us." Yet far in the wreckage a faint spark remained. A shard of the Wrath's core still glowed, drifting silently through the void. Its light pulsed once, twice, then stronger. The Wrath was not finished. It would return again when humanity needed it most.